Okay, you guys, this lesson is 7.4. It's an extension and it's repeating decimals. So as we talked, we can have a repeating decimal as a rational number, and that means that we can write it in fraction form or as a ratio. So you've written terminating decimals as fractions because repeating decimals are rational numbers. You can also write repeating decimals as fractions. So the key idea here is that these are the most important steps that you're going to want to remember. Writing a repeating decimal. You're going to let the variable x equal the repeating decimal d. Step 1, you're going to write the equation. Then the second thing you're going to do is multiply each side of the equation by 10 to the nth term to form a new equation where n is the number of repeating digits. Step 3, you're going to subtract the original equation from the new equation. And step 4, you're going to solve for x. So these are your steps that you're going to use. Now I'm going to explain what those are, and you're going to follow along so that you kind of understand this. So write 0 4/10 as a fraction in simplest form. So first of all, we're going to let x equal whatever we're trying to do here. So x equals 0 4/10 repeating. And sometimes you can, remember this is repeating, so this is the same as having it go all the way out. So write the equation. Step 2, there is only one repeating digit. 4 is the only digit that repeats, so you're going to multiply each step by 10 to the first power since there's only one digit repeating, which is just 10. So 10 times x and 10 times 0 4/10. Next, you're going to simplify. So 10 times x is 10x, and 10 times 0 4/10 just moves the decimal place over one place. So we get 4 4/10 repeating. Now, third step, we're going to subtract the original equation. This is the original equation. So we're going to bring this down and we're going to subtract that. So subtract x equals 0 4/10 repeating. We're doing this so that we can get rid of these repeating. And if we exaggerated those out, those are all going to be, so if I kind of wrote these, exaggerated them, you're going to see that they end up canceling each other out. So what are we left with? We're left with 9x equals 4. Step 4, solve for x. So we would divide both sides by 9, and x equals 4/9. So 0 4/10 repeating equals 4/9. And you can check it by dividing. 4 divided by 9 gives you that same thing. So you're going to practice, and you're going to do 1 through 6. And when you're done, you're going to pause this right now, and then when you're done, you're going to unpause and you're going to check your answers. Okay, here are the answers. Notice that whenever you have a repeating digit with no whole number, whatever the number is that's repeating is just over 9. So 1 was repeating, it's the only digit repeats, it's 1 over 9. 5 is repeating, it's still negative, so we have to put the negative, but it's 5/9. Now this one, the only thing repeating is the 2. So go ahead and put the -1. The decimal part's going to be your fraction. 2 is repeating, so it's going to be 2/9. Here we have 5 is a whole number. 8 is repeating, and this is the decimal part of it, so it's 8/9. So those you don't even have to go through this part. You can see that it goes over 9. In example 1, why can you subtract the original equation from the new equation after multiplying by 10? Explain why these two steps are performed. You multiply by 10 so that when you subtract the original equation, the repeating part is removed. And part 6, compare the repeating decimals and their equivalent fractions in exercise 1 through 4. This is kind of what I've already talked to you about. You write the digit that repeats in the numerator and use 9 in the denominator. Okay, now let's look at the next part. So we're going to write a repeating decimal as a fraction. One digit repeats. Okay, so again with one digit repeating, and we have x equals -0 and 2300. So we're going to write that equation. X equals negative 0, decimal point 2, and the 3 is repeating. Now, step 2, there's only one digit repeating, so we're going to multiply each side by 10 to the first or 10. So we're going to do 10 times x equals 10 times negative 0.23 repeating. We're going to simplify that. That's 10x here. And that, if we multiply it, moves it over. So it's going to be negative 2.3 repeating. We're going to subtract the original equation from here. So we're going to bring this right down here. And we're going to subtract x equals negative 0 and 2 and 3/10 repeating. And so when we do that, 10x minus x is 9x. And here, all these 3's that would be here would be gone. So, and remember, we're subtracting a negative, so that's like adding. So we get negative 2 and 1/10. Divide both sides by 9. We're going to solve for x. And x equals negative 2 and 1/10 over 9. We never want to leave a decimal in a fraction. So we're going to multiply both sides by 10 to make that negative 21 over 90. And then we're going to simplify. So when we divide, we can divide them both by 3. So that's going to equal negative 7/30. And that would be my final fraction. Okay, you go ahead and try this one. Go ahead and pause. Okay, you should be done. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to write your equation. Okay, this time we have 2 digits repeating. So since there are 2 digits repeating, we're going to multiply each side by 10 to the second power, which is 100. So 100 times x equals 100 times 1 and 25/100 repeating. Simplify that, that's 100x equals, that's going to move the decimal over 2 places, so we're going to get 125, and then the decimal places are going to keep repeating. We're going to subtract our original, so minus x equals, line up your decimals, and here 100 minus 1x is 99x, and these are going to be gone, so 125 minus 1 is 124. Divide both sides by 99. And so we get x equals 124/99, which is also equal to 1 and 25/99. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is pause, and I would like you to try to do these on a separate sheet of paper. And then once you're done, unresume and check your answer. Okay, here are your answers that you should have come up with. For number 11, if there are 2 digits repeating, instead of having the numerator over just a 9, since there are 2 repeating digits, then you would be over 99. And don't forget that you always have to simplify.